Fujitsu Cyber has implemented Microsoft 365 Copilot across a range of industries and different sized organizations. In all cases, those industries and organizations have seen great benefits from the productivity automation that it provides. However, those deployments can be challenging. In most organizations, you don't have a good grip over your data. You don't know what you have where, what its sensitivity is, or how it may be shared, especially with both internal and external users. So before you can turn on Microsoft 365 Copilot and potentially expose that information across your organization, we strongly recommend doing an assessment to understand where your data is, what its sensitivity is, and how it can be secured and shared. The greatest benefits I've personally seen for Microsoft 365 Copilot is the ability to automate the recording and transcribing of Teams meetings. Not just recording it and giving you a full transcript, but being able to extract those key talking points and key actions. It enables us within 5 minutes before the end of the meeting to pause, to pull it up on screen, allow everyone to review the action items, review the minutes, agree with them. So at the end of that hour or 2 hours or whatever it may be, you know that you've got the exact outcome recorded and you're ready to move on to the next thing, saving that valuable time and saving any potential miscommunications down the path. The biggest misconception we see across all organizations wanting to implement Microsoft 365 Copilot is that they can simply turn it on and figure out the rest as they go. We strongly disagree with this. We think you must do your pre-work, analyze your environment first, especially to understand where your data is and how it's shared, to then turn it on. So you want to know exactly what you've got, where you've got, and most importantly, who has access to it before you open it up to everyone. AI capabilities, especially things like Microsoft 365 Copilot, can be both a blessing and a curse to the cybersecurity industry as a whole. It can be great for helping you respond to risks, but it can also introduce new risks as well. From an attacker's point of view, they can generate new phishing emails in a matter of seconds, and all the traditional techniques we've taught users to identify those, such as looking for misspellings and strange wording, are no longer an issue. But consequently, they can also help us respond to issues much more quicker. We can respond at machine speed rather than human speed. We can identify new patterns in potentially malicious behavior. It can also help us find information within our environments a lot more rapidly. Any IT team that's looking at the implementation of Microsoft 365 Copilot should look at a couple of key points. The first being the access to information that you provide to the tool. Once it has access, it will share that information. It makes it available to users of it. So things that they may have had access to but never realized are suddenly brought to the forefront. This is why it's so important to understand where your data is, its sensitivity, and how it's shared. The second thing that those IT support teams, and specifically your security and compliance teams, need to be aware of is feedback and sharing. While we all want these AI tools to get better and learn, you may not want them to learn from your data and your users' experience. So to consider that risk and decide if you want to share or if you want to turn that off. Implementing Microsoft 365 Copilot and any other AI tool should be no different from implementing any other piece of IT technology. You need to plan, you need to consider your environment, and then you need to manage the deployment itself. So the planning is really key. You need to understand the tool, understand its components, understand what it can bring to your environment, but what those risks are. And the best way to do that is work with a partner with extensive knowledge in that's done it before, that knows the ins and outs of it, and it can help you guide that through. Once you go to implementation, you need to work with your users because it is a new technology and something they may not be familiar with. So just like other new technologies be brought in, it's something that needs to help be guided so you get the most value out of it. Fujitsu Cyber has extensive experience with Microsoft 365 Copilot, having used it since the very first days of the product. With that experience working both internally and with our partners and clients, we understand the best ways to implement it, not only to maximize your return on investment with the product, but also ensure it's done in a secure way to not expose your users or your data. We can guide you through the process from the initial idea to the full implementation across your workforce to make sure you get the most out of it and you see the benefits without the risks. While we saw great benefits in terms of collaboration, this also exposed many organizations to new risks. One of the greatest risks of these rush deployments is not fully understanding the configurations available to them, and also assuming that if you configure something once correctly, that it will stay that way into the future. But we all know the cloud doesn't work this way. It is constantly evolving with new settings and new capabilities.
Therefore, you constantly need to review your security posture to make sure that you are staying secure and also getting the best return on your investment for your licensing. Fujitsu Cyber offers a Microsoft 365 assessment targeting your environment to understand its specific configuration against industry best practice, understanding what additional value you can get out of your tools, and making sure that it aligns to your business objectives. There are a number of ways that automated security tools can help surface risks within your environment and also help you respond to them. Constant scanning is something that automated tools provide that a human can never match. So not waiting for an annual review or quarterly audit, but constantly looking, constantly polling to find changes as soon as they happen, so a risk can be identified and remediated now, not in 3, 6 or 12 months when it may be too late to respond. In terms of that response, automated tools can rapidly decrease the mean time to resolution. So it doesn't require waiting for a human to see an alert, think about it, respond to it and take an action. It can happen in machine speed. Again, reducing the time that your organization, your data and your users may be vulnerable to attack. The quickest way to strengthen your Microsoft 365 security is to start with an assessment to understand exactly what your configuration is and how it compares to industry and security best practice. From there, you can understand your key risks and key opportunities and have targeted remediation activities to resolve those. Fujitsu Cyber provides a Microsoft 365 assessment service to do exactly that, to help you understand exactly what you've got and how you can improve it rapidly. Fujitsu Cyber's Microsoft 365 Copilot Readiness Assessment allows you to gain confidence that your environment is ready to enable Microsoft 365 Copilot without exposing your users to unforeseen risks. What we do is perform an assessment of your data. We look at where your data is stored, who it's shared with, and where sensitive data actually lives. Because by combining the combination of sensitive data and data that is shared, we can understand where your data risk lives and what Copilot may expose users to once it's enabled. Once we have found these areas, we provide recommendations to remediate so that you know once you've implemented these, you're ready to get the full benefit of Microsoft 365 Copilot without the risk. If you'd like to learn more about what Fujitsu Cyber can do to help you on your Microsoft 365 and Microsoft 365 Copilot journey, please feel free to reach out. We'd love to get in touch.